Guess where we are today? GB Top Team. Shout out to the guys. And my new mate today, Weslley Magic Maia. Bosh! Thanks for doing this, bro.
Yes, bro. You're welcome, my man. It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Nice. We met before. You took a picture for me and Shane, right? Yeah, that's how we first got in.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Good to have you back.
But I've heard you're not just a cameraman, you actually fight as well, yeah?
I try.
But yeah,
I try. I like a bit of violence sometimes.
Don't we all, huh? Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? But as we was talking a bit off camera and stuff, the accent's obviously not from South London originally, bro. You're from Brazil. Where are you from?
I'm far away from home. I'm from Brazil. I'm from like a small town in Brazil, up north, the jungle side of Brazil. Is a place close to Amazon.
Okay.
Boa Vista. The States is Roraima.
Nice.
Which they always struggle to go through, the announcers.
Oh, is that right? Ooh, yeah.
Roraima.
Forget that one, yeah.
That's it. Abraço, galera. Tamo junto. So,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And then that's me, bro.
Nice.
Just, here, chasing the dream, chasing the goal.
Chasing the dream. Did you come to England specifically for MMA?
Only to train, as I said, I'm from a small place in Brazil. Right. Brazil is known for martial arts as well, as much as football. Right. We got some good fighters over there. But being a guy from a small town means I didn't have the big gyms around, and the MMA scene is a bit like very small. It's not much around, so I was never part of a big team in Brazil, but I always had that dream of being a world champ and change my life through MMA, through the sports, and then that's why I came to London, because I was already a pro in Brazil. I fought on Shoto, which is the biggest promotion there, but looking around me when I was growing, trying to make it a living of MMA, I just saw the reality was hard, especially when you're not coming from, let's say, Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, the big towns, where the big gyms, the big teams are. So I came to London specifically to meet this guy, the One Punch guy. Ever heard about him?
Never heard of him, bro.
No.
We were saying this the other day because I was here for another podcast. Obviously beat, what in many opinions, the greatest of all time, Demetrius Johnson, right? One punch beat him. So. And
that's it. He's he was one of the guys that when I was growing, just leaving, I was amateur still. I was watching a lot of fights, and my first coach was showing me some fights on WEC, the blue cage. So,
which, for anyone who doesn't know, before the UFC had the lighter weights, that's where the best lighter weights were. Right?
Yes. So, I was watching guys like Dominic Cruz, Demetrius Johnson, Jose Aldo was there. And then, of course, One Punch. So I remember first time I saw him, very aggressive, relentless, like relentless boxing skills with good wrestling skills, very tough guy. And then he was on my list of, oh man, I like this guy, I'm a big fan. So I had the opportunity to come to London through my friend Claudio Hannibal Silva. Um abraço pro Claudio. Claudio, shout out for my man. He was on UFC. We met each other in Brazil a few years before I came, and then we started some relationship, just being through Instagram. We knew each other, and then he just called me one day. He was known for his grappling, wrestling skills. He was fighting on UFC, and he beat Leon Edwards in the past as well. So he was doing his UFC run, but he needed help with his striking, and it was the opposite. I was always a good striker, which I need a bit of help with my wrestling. Okay. So he said, come to my house, stay with me, and then I introduce you to some people. And then he introduced me to Brad. So I came to London, he introduced me to Brad, and that's how it started. And it was funny because the day he said, oh, I want to take you, he took me for quite a few gyms in London. And then one day it was the second week in London, he said, oh, I want to take you to a place today, but he didn't say who was there. And then I was like, okay, cool, let's just go, but be ready because I think you're gonna spot today. So I was like, yeah, cool. So we went to this gym. We walked in, and then I saw One Punch with his legendary hat.
Did he have the hat on?
Yeah, he had the hat on. And then I was like, oh, I can't believe it. I was like, I know this guy. And then it's funny because it never came to my mind I didn't know if he was living here or in America, whatever, so we walked in, I saw him, and I was like, wow. So it was funny, that day they had BT Sports recording Fanny Wood.
Yep,
he had just made the year that I came was the year that he made his UFC debut.
Right, okay.
So they was recording him and the whole thing, the camera, seeing the people, seeing Brad, it was a bit of, for me, it was a bit of like, oh, is it real? So I'm really here, you know? So just had a sparring session with the boys there. And then Brad was speaking to Claudio and was like, yeah, bring the boy. I think we can help him. And then that's how it started. So
Gosh.
This gym, this place, Brad, Ash, and all my teammates are the main reason of why I'm still in London.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they are the people that want to make it to the top, and I just feel like I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah. And you mentioned Claudio Silva. Is he still fighting? Because he was fighting fairly recently, right?
Yeah, he was. He's retired now.
Oh, he's retired now.
Yeah,
Okay.
he got his own business. He's just doing other stuff, and then so yeah, he's a very important guy in my story as well. Because without him, I would probably never. I always thought about going to America.
Right. Okay.
Like I need to leave Brazil. I can't be around here. I need to. So I never had London in mind, but then he called me. It was actually a funny story, because I'm a bit spiritual, right?
Okay.
So I'm a Christian, and I remember like one day I was going home. My life in Brazil was very comfortable. I was part of a big gym there as well, but it was pretty much like a striking-based gym. Right.
Really? In Brazil, that's strange, right? Because like for anyone who doesn't know, we'll go out
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But that's because my second coach, he was known for his striking skills. So he's Alex Shadu. He used to work with Jose Aldo, Renan Barão, a lot of big names in Brazil.
And they was good at MMA, was they them too?
Yeah, they're quite decent. So he is a Brazilian guy, but he grew up in Amsterdam.
Okay, because Muay Thai, from what I understand, is quite big in Brazil as well, right?
Yes, it is. It is. So he grew in Holland, which is the best place in the world for kickboxing. So he was a pro in his whole life in Amsterdam. He was from Mike's gym.
Yeah, okay. Which is renowned for heavy duty training over there.
Exactly. So he brought that style, Mike's gym style, to Brazil. And then he opened a gym in the town that I was living, which was not my hometown anymore. I was a bit more central in the close to Brasilia, the capital.
Yeah.
So and then I was blessed to meet him and start training with him. So that's why my striking was always like elite level. You know, it was always good. But I was missing that wrestling MMA, the MMA wrestling, you know, to connect the things. Obviously, I had jiu-jitsu there as well, but I didn't have the MMA wrestling, you know. So when I was training with this guy, he introduced me to, I introduced me to Claudio. I met Claudio and then but I had that lack on my wrestling. Okay. And when I saw Brad, I just by the first day having the first sparring at the gym, I was like, okay, this is the place to be, because I had a tough rounds there, the boys taking me down, and then I just saw how the train was based, and I was like, this is exactly what I need. So since then, changing a lot. Not even changing, but I'm adding a lot to my MMA skills. Yeah, so that's the main goal.
And when you came to England, like obviously it's a big commitment, isn't it? Come from Brazil, it's not like you move in cities. You come into a completely different country and culture. You said sort of it wasn't your plan originally, but when you came here, was you moving here or was you here for a trip?
No, so that's the thing. I came to, like I said, I had a comfortable life in Brazil. I was doing well there, but I just driving one day. That's what I was gonna say, and I forgot. Yeah. I was driving one day, and then I just like, oh man, I need to move. I need to be out of Brazil. I always want to learn English as well. I knew how important it would be once you get to the big leagues and stuff. So I was like, I had zero English. I just had a dream and faith. So
because your English is good now, isn't it? It sounds like
it's all from the gym,
forever.
bro.
Really,
it's all from the gym. I never, it's just all for I had zero English. I never studied. I just came like I just knew. Please and thank you. That's all I need. That's all I knew, you know. So I was driving my car one day. I was, comfortable. I was doing good financially, but when you feel you're too comfortable to grow, you're too comfortable to grow. So I was driving a car one day and I was really sad. because I just knew, I was like, listen, if I stay here, I was gonna get there, because I was making a lot of money with PTs, easy PTs. The training was not exactly what I needed, and I felt like I was missing something. And I was driving my car home, and I was a bit sad. I got a bit sadness there. That's my daughter right there.
It's your daughter.
My wife there.
Little beauty, look at that.
So I was driving my car, and I was really sad, and then I was just talking to God, I was like, it was kind of a prayer, but I was just thinking, my thoughts was going crazy, and I was like, man, I just need to leave. And I always had America in my mind, but I just didn't know how to get there, because it was harder to get to America, because you got to sort the visa. Financially saying, it was harder, So I was thinking, I was just praying, I was really sad. It was kind of like crying, when you're crying inside, like sad, I didn't know what to do, because I didn't have the money to get a visa sorted. I didn't know anyone in America. I was like, wow, how am I gonna do this? And I was like, God, if you just help me, if you just give me a chance, I will hold it with both hands. You're never gonna regret. So that was on my way going home. That was on a Tuesday. Thursday evening, 2 days late, I was coaching, and then Claudio Hannibal called me, and we just knew each other through Instagram, but we was not really close. And he just called me. He was like, hey, what's up, bro? And I was like, yeah, what's up, brother? And then he was like, how's life? And I was like, yeah, good, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, bro, just thinking, hey, I don't know, would you, come to my house and stay here for maybe just get 6 months there, come to my house, we'll introduce you to some people, you help me with my striking, I help you with wrestling. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I was got a bit like, oh, bro, it sounds good. And as soon as I finished the call, I was like, yeah, let me speak to my girlfriend. I was like, let me speak to my girlfriend and then see what we, if it's possible. And then as soon as I, turn off, and I just thought about the prayer that I did 2 days before. And then I was like, I just feel, okay, it could be, I think that's a sign. That's a door being open. And I sold everything I had. My girlfriend did the same. I got home, that night I got home and I said, we was together for nearly 2 years, and we was actually living together already. And I was like, I got that phone call from Claudio from London, and he's called me to go. And it was a bit like, I thought we was going to start arguing about something, because, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that means you're going to go, and I'm going to stay.
Right.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, but, that means, I don't know, he's calling me to go. I don't know. What do you think? She was like, straight away, you got to go. And it was incredible.
Loyal girl, man, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Christ.
Blessed. And I was like, oh, but that means we're gonna stay. She's like, you gotta go. It doesn't matter. You gotta go. She was in university. She stopped her university to come a few months late. Yo. So we literally sold everything we had, the car, everything. And then I came to London. I had like a backpack, a suitcase, and like 300 pounds.
Wow. And your daughter's not born yet?
No, we was just me and her. Yeah. And came to Claudio's house and just like, okay, let's give it a go. 6 months, I know Brazil's gonna be there anyway, so yeah. It's been 6 years.
Wow. Oh, you stayed ever since?
Yeah. Ever since. I went to Brazil once since I came. It's like 2 years ago for like 4 months, right. And then that's the only time I've been there. And
your daughter's born here, right? So she's English.
My daughter was here until my wife was like 8 months pregnancy.
Right, okay.
And that's when we went home.
That's when you were, okay, cool.
But then now my son is born here.
Wow.
He's British, yeah. Nice, he's born here in England. So it's been a long 6 months.
Yeah, right, yeah. But how old was you when you decided to come here?
I was 22.
Yeah, so like for you and your girlfriend, that's a big commitment, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
It is.
Because I tell you what come to mind when you said that and your girlfriend was like, let's just go, blah, blah. It's like, the sport of martial arts. How many people have got mental girlfriends that drive them fucking nuts, bro, and keep them out of doing things? Do you know what I'm saying? So for her to do that, it's like, it's almost, well, you told me, it's almost like a teammate, right?
It is a teammate. She's the biggest part of the whole dream. It's not, like I always say that, it's not even my dream, it's our dream now, it's she's as important as it can possibly be.
And is she a martial artist too?
She loves it.
Yeah.
She's very into it. We can just watch fights and talk about it. She's just very into it.
She
used to do a bit of jiu-jitsu before as well.
But that's a big help, right? That's a game changer.
It is, And then the funny thing is, she is, because you know when it was growing, I had those guys around me. They was pros already, and then they start a relationship with someone, and then they drop the ball. They start like they're not training as much anymore. they don't even thinking about. They change their career. They're not focused on being a fighter no more. And then it's cool if you're happy with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that to happen to me.
Right.
So she was my first girlfriend. Before that, I never really allowed myself to be too emotional relate to someone,
course,
because this is Maria.
Hey, hello, darling.
Say hello.
Hey.
So I was just like, oh, I don't want to. The priorities, my dream, my goal, myself, I need to be, you know what I mean? And then, you know how people are like, they want to be partying, especially when you're like 21, 22, they want to be partying, especially in Brazil, like everywhere, but in Brazil as well, you know, they want to be vibing, they want to be partying, they want to be out drinking. And I was blessed to have my first coach, Wilson Salazar. It's important for me to say all those names because they're all important in my story, in my career. He was always like, he was like a father for me. He was always like, oh, you want to be the number one? Don't drink. You want to be the number one? Don't smoke. Don't use drugs. Don't be out. Don't stay around girls. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was always telling me those things, and I took it very like serious, you know, seriously. So when I met her, she was like the first girl that I would say like, she was, oh, should we go out tonight? And I'm like, oh, no, because I got trained tomorrow. And she would just like, oh yeah, cool. You know what I mean? All the other girls would be a bit like, don't be boring.
I'd say, where are all these girls, bro? I need to find me one of those. What's the matter with you?
So it's like, when I saw she doing this kind of things, you know, like drive me to the gym or not, like, oh, we're not going out because tomorrow I got to train. Okay, cool, we'll sleep. So I was like, okay, it could be, I think she's the one.
She's a keeper, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and we together, we got a beautiful family. We got Maria, we got Emmanuel. Like I said, she is very important part of my career, of my dream, of my life. And then she's one of the main reasons as well that why I want to get to the top, why I want to get to the big leagues and build myself like a legacy.
That's cool, man. Yeah, and obviously we haven't mentioned it yet, but you're Cage Warriors bantamweight, right?
Yes,
now,
I'm Cage Warriors bantamweight.
First thing, well, not first thing, but I always ask fighters typically like on their weight, because some fighters you look at and you go, yeah, it makes sense you fight at that weight. Other fighters you go like, Jesus.
Oh wow, you got
look. She's part of the team.
Let's show it to the camera. Let's show it to the camera. She got a GB
top
team,
next generation.
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful. But like some fighters, like I was recently in Berlin, and there's a fighter, Nico Samanidze. I don't know if you've come across him at all. Great guy. Shout out Nico. But he's like, he fights at featherweight. And the first thing I said when I saw him, I was like, bro, how'd you make that weight? You look like you need to chop the leg. And he's not excuse, but he said like, oh, I got skinny legs, blah blah blah. Even still, I was looking at him like, you're huge for the weight. Like for you, you're maybe not tall for the weight, but you're jacked up for the weight. And that was one of the things when I first saw you, I thought you're pretty big for the weight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how's that for you? Is that tough?
So I have now 16 professional fights.
Yeah.
I was a flyweight before, but then of course when I came to London, I was actually a flyweight in Brazil. But then of course as you grow and you age and you got a bit mature, body grows a bit, and then I moved to bantamweight. But I used to walk around, my first few fights at bantamweight, I used to walk around like 67.
Okay.
That was my walk around.
And for anyone who doesn't know, bantamweight 61, right?
61, yeah.
Yeah.
135 pounds. Big Mike is there. Look. So we used to walk around that weight, but then now I walk around 74. Ooh. So it's a big weight cut. Yeah. But the main thing is, only on my last fight, I was able to find this guy, Eritz. He is a master on weight cut.
Okay.
So this guy was a game change on my last fight, and then like I told it to him, like, we're married now, brother.
That's it.
You're gonna go the whole life.
You're on the team. You're with me for life.
You know what I mean?
And was you a pro in Brazil before you came here?
I was a pro in Brazil.
You was already fighting pro.
Yeah. So I had my first 5 professional fights in Brazil.
Okay.
So I was only on my last fight camp, I found the perfect fight camp. Okay. For that, you know, I always used to do a big dehydration. Yeah. So up to until my last fight, until I found this guy Eric, shout out my brother. I was doing big weight cuts, water cut. So I would dehydrate from like 6 to 9, 70 kilos, right?
Right.
All the way till. So that we're talking about like 8.5, 9 kilos dehydration.
It's tough. That's tough, man.
And that was I sweat quite easy because, you know, I'm like lean.
Yeah.
I don't have my body fat and stuff, I'm quite lean. So I sweat quite easy. I sweat eating like spicy chicken, you know. I sweat eating.
Yeah,
like
I can relate to that, bro. I get the face sweat on if I
right.
eat anything, yeah.
So sweating was never the problem, but the problem was you got to perform after make weight.
Yeah.
And I always had that issue of here at the gym, I can train for hours. I can do like 10 rounds, 12 rounds. I just go for days. But then I would get to the fight, I'd be very explosive in the first one, second round, third round, boom, down the bottom, right? With my energy level. And then I was trying to understand why, you know, why I'm so dangerous and explosive at the gym and I can keep it for long, but why in the fight it's dropping after 5 minutes. And it was definitely the wake up. So now with Eritz, I was having 6 meals a day.
Yeah.
I only dehydrate 3 kilos and then I dropped from 7 to 3.
Ooh.
So
okay.
I can't even explain. If you guys are struggling with making weight, there's this guy Eritz. You just go on my Instagram, you're gonna find him there. He was a game changer. I met him in Dubai.
Yeah.
I've worked with nutritionists before, and that's why I was doing my own thing because no one knows your body more than yourself,
right.
and you know, and then you earn a lot of experience with nutrition and stuff through the years. So I was actually doing my own wake up. And it was working. I was always making weight. I never missed weight, but I was not performing on my best on the fight night because of that wake up. You know, it was too big, too much water to drop. But now it was a game change. It was like I had my last fight. I fought like Luffy last year in November, London card Cage Warriors. He was knocking everyone out, like dangerous guy. He was coming from featherweight, so he was big as well. He was bigger than me. And then I feel strong. I feel great the whole time. Because that's the thing about the wake up when you're not doing it properly. I just learned with Aritz, you save a lot of stress. You know, you save a lot of stress on your body and on your mind by doing the right thing. By still be eating or be starving. You know what I mean? I had energy. I remember like fight week I was running like 10K and he had to turn the treadmill off. Like, bro, come on, stop. Yeah. And then I'm like, no, I'm feeling great because I was eating. I was not starving. I was, you know what I mean?
My body
was good. It was a game change.
Yeah.
So I feel good in that weight class. I feel fast. It feels like I got fast metabolism. I can keep on that weight class for like a few years still. And then eventually we go featherweight for sure.
Yeah. Did you ever think featherweight? You know when you're struggling with the weight, did you ever think, fuck this, man, let's just do feather?
Not really because how can I say, it was never a struggle really to make the weight.
Right. It was more the recovery after.
It's just like after the performance, fighting, how you feel in the cage, that would feel a bit like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The legs sometimes are not there.
Yeah.
So, and then that was the main thing. But I always used to, we always make a joke here, like I would see the boys like dieting for like 3-4 weeks and I would just do 3 days dieting and for like 16 hours dehydration and then drop like 9 kilos. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's definitely not health to your body as well. So, but I never really struggled with it. My mind was always like, you know, when you understand, okay, I will dehydrate that much, it's good. My body was never like really, I would never feel in danger, you know, by doing that. But of course, it was not funny.
No.
But it was still fine enough for me to not be thinking about featherweight right now.
Right,
you know what I mean?
But I'll tell you what I found as well, when I've lost lots of weight for things as well, there's a mental element to that where it makes you feel good as well, right? Because you're through the struggle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's some of that there.
It feels like that's a very important thing to say because I have this in mind. Like I think like the wake up, it's almost like it fires up the anger, the you know, like it's part of that little stress that may bring. We should use that to, you know, fire up, like get some motivation for that. I think it's important. It's an important mental test before the actual fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the physical battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm assuming you train year round. Do you full-time pro and stuff? You train all the time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And that makes a difference too, because when you come into it, your body's healthy, right? Because we've all seen it, guys that come into fight camp, if you want to call it that, they look like someone who ate the person they used to be, right? And they're fucking like, it's half their battle is actually losing weight rather than, they're not even worried about the fight yet.
That's why somehow doing the big dehydration felt better than me dieting for longer.
Right.
And feeling depleted through the camp.
Right.
So because I was cutting close to the fight, like last minute water cut, it allows me to train the whole camp feeling normal, and then dehydrate, and then feeling miserable, and then fight.
Right.
So, but that was a game change with the new guy, you know, like eating 6 meals a day, have some yogurt, ice cream. I had ice cream after make weight. I made weight the day before for the first time, because I always do in the morning as well. I don't want to be dehydrated. I made weight the way before. I was 1 kilo over the night before, and then I had ice cream. I couldn't believe I was there, like dehydrated, feeling okay because I was just dehydrating 3 kilos, so it was like nothing.
Right.
And it was good. It was light in bed. He just came to me with a nice ice cream, a big ice cream. He just came, bro, that's for you. I was like, bro, are you like, is it real? Like, I was like, yeah, this is for you. Like, you deserve. But then you learn why I was doing that and why I could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the difference of having him on my side. He came from Dubai just to stay in my house for the last 7 days before the fight. So we was leaving together.
Damn.
Just for him. I didn't have to worry about what to eat. I would just look at him. He's like, bro, you can eat this. Bro, have this. Switch this for that. You can have a bit more of that, because you know what I mean? So it was like no stress about anything. I was just like, yes, sir. I'm having the ice cream. Thank you. I take it.
Yeah, get on him, anyone. That sounds like the way to go in the future. Because how many people do you know? I know people that have done it before, and they've like starved themselves all day just so they can have McDonald's in the evening and shit. And like,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's the wrong way. Actually, the more you starving, the more you deplete yourself in terms of calories and food, the more your body's gonna hold on to things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I was eating, so my body, I was eating and training. So my body is just spending calories, just spending energy, you know what I mean? Like, it's burning because I'm still getting calories in, you know, I'm still eating. I was actually in 2,000 calories daily on the fight week.
On the fight week? Yeah. So you're serious.
Crazy. I had a lot of energy, you know, so, and then it's a science that if you starve too much thinking you're going to drop weight, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah. Body holds on to shit.
It's going to be like,
hormones
body's
go crazy,
small, exactly. Yeah. It's going to be like, no, you're not giving me anything. I'm not letting anything come out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was game change. So I feel, especially now, I got a lot of bantamweight fights left.
That's cool. Before you go to it's featherweight in the plans.
Featherweight in the plans, but I need to be a bantamweight champ first. That's the goal. I can't move up without having that belt.
Yeah, I got you.
On my shoulder.
And obviously, like, you're 16 fights in now as a pro, which is, you know, serious career already, right? A lot of guys are like retiring after 16 fights, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So like, from you now, what's the plans and what's the steps? Where do you want to get to in your career before you're done?
So the right now goal, and then I've been very realistic with it my whole career. Of course, the main goal from day one has been a UFC bantamweight champ. You know.
Well, it's funny you say that. The reason I sort of put that on you a little bit is like the bantamweight title's up for grabs this weekend, right? Obviously, this will come out after. But as we're sat here now, we're 2 days away from Merab versus Nurmagomedov.
Big, serious fight. Yeah. The bantamweight division is in a crazy high level. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why it gets me a bit like it won't gonna be a normal, easy achievement for someone, especially from someone coming from where I came from. You know, like I said, I'm from a town where we're not known for martial arts in Brazil.
Really?
There's nothing coming out from that place. You know, people are just, they grow up there. It's a lovely place. The nature there is beautiful, but we're talking about a small place, you know. And it's like people from that place, they don't dream that big.
Okay.
They too busy trying to survive. They too busy and, you know, putting themselves on the 9-to-5 schedule.
Right.
You know,
is it a poor place where you come from?
I would say half.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, you know, not really poor, but it's not the richest town in Brazil. It's just a place. You know, I think that we have like 400,000 people, the population.
Yeah, I got you.
It's a small place. You know what I mean?
Small compared to London.
We're not dreaming about being world champs there. Small compared to London. Yeah.
You can take some from London. We got too many people, bro. We should ship some over and get them out of the way.
So it's like, you know, it's would be a big achievement. You know, I have no one did that. No one did martial arts in my family before.
Yeah.
I was.
Are you a big deal in your hometown? Do people know you? Are you becoming sort of like a?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because like I start training martial arts when I was in my hometown, but I moved to the Goiânia, which is more central of the country. It's more in the middle, right? So my whole career was based on that place instead of my hometown.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Not really.
How old was you when you started martial arts?
I was 14 years old.
Yeah, so still a kid.
Yeah, still a kid. So I was 14 years old. It was a jiu-jitsu social project, you know. It's the boss.
Yeah, she's in charge here.
It's Maria.
So Maria.
It was through a social project in Brazil, you know. Like I was always into football, playing football on the streets with my friends, and like at some point, one of my friends, he just did a prayer. He used to go like it's just a thing to do. You go to school in the morning, for example. It's afternoon time. We just meet in the streets and we play football anywhere. We just, you know what I mean. So we still have. I was still blessed to have that growing up. You know, which is I don't know. I don't think people do that much here in London. I don't know, right? I don't know.
Maybe when I was a kid, it was a bit more. It's dying out. Yeah, because the world's different, isn't it?
Nowadays, right? It's different,
it's gone. Yeah.
So I was just playing football outside, just being a kid, and this guy just disappeared from the football, right? So he came up like 2 weeks late, and I was like, bro, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, bro, I just started doing jiu-jitsu. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, you can come one day as well. Like, and I was like, okay, when is the next? And then he just said, okay, we can go next week. I just went. Saw a mat for the first time. I saw the coach, which was my first coach, with a black belt. I saw the outfit, the gi, and then for me, because I was always one of those kids like watching Van Damme's movies, you know, like the fighting thing, and would be playing on, let's say, go shower, and it's just half an hour shower because I'm fighting the water, you know. It's just, I was always one of them kids. And then when I saw that, I was like, whoa, that's like real shit. It's happening right here. And then I just saw some boys like skinny as me, like me, you know, just doing some triangles, arm bar, taking some bigger boys down. And then that was the advanced people on the mats, right? And then I was like, that's pretty cool. I want to give it a go. And then I just trained that day, tap out to everyone, and then thinking, this is crazy. I want to learn how to do this, you know? Like you just, for the first time ever, I saw, like you take someone down, and then that guy put his legs around your neck and just squeeze you, and then you're like, oh, if I don't tap, I'm going out. Yeah. So that feeling was like, I need to learn this. I need to learn how to do this, you know what I mean? And especially back then, my mindset was never to be like a world champ. I was just a kid, so for me it was like, oh, if I know how to do this, I can defend myself. You know, I'm not gonna get beat by, I don't know, some random guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Especially being a smaller kid, I was smaller than all my friends.
Right.
I was the smallest in the group. You know.
Yeah.
Skinny and small, so I was like, bro, I need to learn this, because I realized, okay, with some technique, I may have a chance with someone bigger than me. You know what I mean? So that was my mindset. Yeah. And then I fall in love for it, and then I mean, I was just starting going, like, instead of going to play football, I was now finishing school in the morning, having food, and then going to the gym in the afternoon, just learning jiu-jitsu, fall in love. The guy was looking after kids as well. That was the intention of his project. It was to take kids out of the streets, you know, and I was just blessed to be one of them.
Nice.
And then he was just giving us gi for free. He was just looking after us, coaching us jiu-jitsu, and then we were just like a lot of boys. You see what the sport does to people. Yeah. Like a lot of boys that would never think about doing some martial arts before. Maybe the parents, they didn't have the opportunity. They just, you know, outside doing, like, being in trouble. They like savage on jiu-jitsu, and then it could be a wasted talent. You know what I mean?
Right,
talent.
Of course,
so doing something else, doing like some crime shit, doing I don't know. And my love that went from football, being a footballer, and to being a fighter.
Yeah. But did you lose interest in football completely?
Completely. Yeah. It was crazy. It got to a point like I was dreaming of being a footballer. I was actually decent in football. I was playing football already for a club, like the base, you know, like just learning. But I was actually good. So I was training there. That I had to pay. You know what I mean? Like so. But then as soon as I started jiu-jitsu, I don't know. It was just like, I was not thinking about going to play football no more. I was like, oh, I wanna learn how to do an arm bar. I wanna learn how to, you know what I mean? I was just, my brain was thinking about those things, and then my interest in football went off. I don't even play football no more.
Mate, I was exactly the same. My first one was boxing, but I was exactly the same. As soon as I found the gloves, I was like, all interest is gone. Just not even trying. Just like, do you know what I'm saying? Without even thinking about it, it was like,
I like boxing.
What do I want to do that for anymore? Do you know what I mean? And Joe Rogan said something once on a podcast, and that stuck with me. I was about 18 when I heard it. He said, like, I don't give a fuck what you can do with that ball. If someone can knock you out, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And it was like, yeah, you know, as a kid, you hear that, you go like, yeah, I get that, you know?
Yeah, because, you know, I think when we grow in schools and, you know, there's sometimes kids that can be silly, man. Like, you know, like when you're in school, you see some people like same age as you, they're just trying to create trouble for no reason, you know? When we adults now, like, it still happens nowadays. I see some guy, he's trying to fight me for no reason. He doesn't even know me. And that happens a lot here in London, you know?
Bad idea.
And then I'm looking at him like, bro, we good. Yeah. I don't know what you want about, but you're right. You know,
you got it, bro.
You got it. I just want to get home. I don't even know you. It's fine. Like, yeah, it happened yesterday. I was walking to the tram, and then we was speaking. It was me and another 4 guys, you know, all from the gym. We're just leaving, and then this guy came walking straight. We give him all the way on the side to pass through, but he still decided to come through the group. And then I went to the side, and he still bumped on my shoulder. And I was literally like, I was laughing. I look at him and I told all the boys, bro, look at this guy. Yeah. Look how crazy he is. You know what I mean?
But they're out there, these people, aren't they? There's some funny people. The funniest one I had was during, like, you know, when it was pandemic times, you weren't supposed to go near people.
Yeah.
It was a guy, he was 70. I know he was 70. He looked good for 70. He was, you know, working and whatever, but he told me he was 70. But he was like, he was beard and whatever. I think I might have told this on him before, so I won't go too much. But it was like, he was beard and I'm kind of half laughing. I'm looking at him like, fit old guy, but an old guy. You know what I'm saying? He jumped out the car, fuck you, let's go, get out, we'll do this now. And I'm looking at him like, bro, you're 70. He's told me he's 70. I'm 70, I'll fucking, you know, I was like, bro, you're 70. What do you think's going to happen here? You know what I mean? Leave me the fuck alone, get back in the car, you know? And his mate, I don't know whether his son or what, but jumped out the car and was like, come on, fucking leave it, blah, blah, and took him back in the car.
Being the adult.
Yeah. And I was looking at him, I was like, what goes on in your brain? You're fucking 70 years old. How did you get to 70 still that angry? Get over it, bro.
You should tell us. It was like that. So in school, we also had those troubles, like silly troubles for no reason. So when I first saw jiu-jitsu, my brain went like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
If I ever had to fight, because I was never chasing a fight, but you know, when like maybe the bigger guys look at you and then they just want to prove a point. You
can't avoid it sometimes as a kid, can you? I mean, I don't know what times are like now, it's a bit different, but like when
being a man, you need to be able to, you know? I'm not saying that everyone needs to be a fighter, but you need to be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do something about, you know, like there are situations where we men, you know what I mean? So I just thought about it. And then I have 2 brothers. I have 4 siblings, right? 2 sisters and 2 brothers. I'm the youngest. I never really had to fight because my 2 brothers, especially the old one, Odair, um abraço, meu irmão. Tô contando pra eles o quanto você é bom de porrada. He was savage. He was a guy that if he had the chance to train, he would get the belts before me.
He'd be the guy.
Bro, he was good. My brother, and I saw him beating people, like 4 of them together. And I'm not talking about wide, technical shots. He knew how to do hands up, straight, head kick. I saw him dropping a guy one day. Boom, head kick. And then I remember...
Street
fight, yeah.
I mean, if someone's throwing head kicks in a street fight, that's a serious guy, right?
You know what I mean? And then I was like, how does he do this? Because it's not like he trained or something.
Never trained.
Never.
Just found head kicks from like what?
I don't know. I think he was a very quiet guy, very like introvert,
yeah.
Like very quiet. My brother is, so he would switch from this very nice guy to something evil.
One extreme to the other.
A machine, like that. But it's like those troubles, these fights. It's not about he starting a problem. It was always like a group of guys passing and talk something and starting it or hitting him first, and he would just flip and just do something. I remember one day he was fighting, like he was with his friends. I'm saying that because we used to go for the same school, but of course I'm on the smaller people class and he's just doing the, you know what I mean?
How much older than you is he?
He was, I'm 29, he's like, we're talking about 8 years different.
Oh, so he's like, when you're a kid, he's basically a man, isn't he? You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was, no, we're talking about 6 years, 7 years difference, sorry. Yeah, so he was
big difference,
yeah, he was big, you know what I mean? He was, so I remember like he was like with his friends, and then all the guys, like I know the 4 guys came close, and then they kind of like stole the hat of one of them, my friends, my brother's friend, stole the hat. So the guy went to question it, like, bro, what are you doing? That's my hat. And then the guy was like, no, that's mine now. And then do something about it, you know, something like that. And then I'm seeing the whole thing. I'm just like seeing the whole thing, and I'm like, my brother was just pretty quiet. He was not even close, but that was his friends. And then the guy that stole the hat just slapped my brother's friend in the face. And the guy was a quite soft guy. He was not into fight, you know. So he just went head down and walked.
Oh no!
Like that. He just went like, he just went head down. And then, like, you know, like, I guess I feel sorry about watching it, and it was not even my friend. So my brother saw that, and he was like, no way, you're gonna do this.
Not today, son.
And he went like, and I'm talking about a guy that he's so quiet and gentle.
Is this the first time you've seen your brother switch?
That was the first time I ever saw him doing something like that, right? And then he walked back, and my brother, he's shorter than me, but he's quite chunky, you know, like muscle. He does a lot of weights. Since always, he was always into weights.
Right.
So he was always naturally strong, you know what I mean? And he just walked past, he went in the middle of the four of them, you know, just to smack him in the face. Like, but he called him first, bro, hey, we're gonna fight. And the guy went, what? And he just went, boom, drop him. The other guys came swinging. He dropped the other one as well. Head kick, cold, like head down, you know, head on the ground, boom. And then I was like, this is my brother. And then I actually feel kind of like, should not be doing this, because I was a kid. So you seen someone getting head kicked and then dropping on the ground. I was like, fucking hell, and my brother is doing that. So I didn't even understood what he was doing. I thought he was just being a bad guy, you know. I was like, fucking hell. And that was the first time I saw him switching that like that. So that's why I never really fought, because the guys in school, they knew about my brothers.
Didn't have to fight.
I didn't have to fight, you know what I mean? They always start some trouble, but then they would realize who my brothers was, and they was just like, okay, we're not doing it. So, but I always thought, well, but what if I have to?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna be like my brother. He's doing something, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna call my brother. I'm gonna say, wait a minute. No. So I literally thought I need to learn. But like I say, they never did martial arts before. My brother, he never did. He was just like he had this instinct of do a fight stance. You know what I mean? And he was just good. He was just very good. And when I had the chance to learn martial arts, and that was growing in my heart and becoming a dream, he always comes in my mind as well. And,
really?
And I was thinking like, well, he didn't have the opportunity to train martial arts, but I have it.
Yeah.
It's on me to get it, you know what I mean?
Cool,
I'm the first one in the family. I really wants to, and they love it. I can see how they proud of me and what I do.
Yeah.
You know, like they
That's
look
awesome,
at me
man,
like that's my little brother.
Especially little brother, right? They probably, you know, that's a cool thing, isn't it? You know what I mean?
And that love, that proud that I can provide to my family is the main thing. So being at the top, Maria, don't move this. Being at the top, for me, before was at the beginning, the first few years was like, you know, when you're young, you're just like, you think you can get. All you think about is like, I can get as rich as Conor McGregor. I can, you know what I mean? You just start thinking of that. But right now, it's not even that. First of all, it's the love for competition, the chaos that it can be.
Right.
And that's the main thing. I got a love for that, you know.
That's cool, man.
And I'm saying that as someone that, if you knows me, I'm always trying to have that kind nature. You know,
yeah.
I'm trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to have a good energy around people, to make them laugh more than cry. Trying to be good, you know. But then if you ever see me competing, you see something completely different. And that's why my brother came in my mind.
Right.
Because he had the power to go for a very kind person, to a very bad guy if he had to. But I never saw him starting a fight or a beef, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do now. It's hard. Like now I got kids. It makes you a bit soft as a human being, as a man. But still, deep in there, I know there's a bad guy trying to make it to the top.
That's
so
cool,
I try to call him out every fight night only.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great, man.
So,
that's real cool. That's real cool. And so it's 16 fights, right? But before that, you started in jiu-jitsu, obviously. Do you ever put the gi on now? Because I'm always interested whether MMA fighters put the gi on.
That's the thing that to be fair with you, the last 6 years. Oh, thank you. The last 6 years. That's for you. You can play with it. Okay. That's in the last 6 years. I put the gi only in 2022. Right. I had a very active year on the gi.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But that was the only, in the last 6 years, that was the only year that I actually put. All the rest, I'm not putting gi at all.
What rank are you in jiu-jitsu?
I'm a purple belt.
Right.
Yeah. I had a 7 years, has a blue belt.
Yeah.
Right. Tudo bem. I had the 7 years as a blue belt. Não dá para abrir, filha. Não dá para abrir. I had a 7 years as a blue belt, and then I like 2 years ago I had my purple belt.
Right.
So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's still gonna be a black belt one day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's because of I'm always away from the gi.
Yeah,
you know, and
right.
especially in Brazil, for you to improve your belt, you need to be wearing the gi.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean. The no gi there, it's like we do the no gi after a gi class.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Is that how it works?
That's how it works in Brazil.
Okay.
It's like muscle people we're gonna show up for just a gi session. They're gonna come for a no gi session. I mean, they're gonna come for the gi session. They're gonna do like an hour and a half of gi, and then they're gonna just sometimes just take the top,
right.
and then they're ready for an hour and a half of no gi. That's how we do it there. É coisa, não dá para abrir. So he was. That's what we do over there. So in the last, I don't know. I feel like the last 7 years I just walk away from the gi.
Yeah.
Because MMA, my struggle was MMA. You got to improve like different areas. You got to improve your fight game against the cage. You got to improve your fight game on the ground. You got to improve your takedowns. You got to make sure your striking is sharp. To then end of the day, you put it all together. Right. And then I find myself having to pick and trying to make a schedule. So the gi
hasn't got a place.
I just put it on the side.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes sense.
But I missed it. You know what I mean? I wanna, cause now I used to work on the last, till only 2 years ago. I'm all day at the gym.
Right.
Before that, when I was doing that when I was in Brazil by coaching and training. Only now I'm coaching and training. But when I came to London, it was like a reset. I had to first find a job to survive, to then learn the language, to then pay the bills, to then dream of being an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then so I always had to work outside of training.
Right.
So that's when jiu-jitsu went like, I need to work. And then when I came train, I would prioritize the wrestling session, I would prioritize this and that, cage work and stuff. But I actually miss it. Once I have the chance to just focus on training and not be coaching, because I still coach quite a lot. I like coaching, but I know I will get to a point where I can just now prioritize my career myself. So when I get to that point, I want to go back on gi. I want to get it back. Even if it's just like 3 times a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gi is such a therapy. I think it's pretty cool.
That's interesting. So I try and wear the gi once a week, but I don't even get that, man. I'm mostly no gi. I tell people watching this that know me, they go, shut the fuck up. You don't train once a week in the gi. But I try and tell people I train once a week in the gi, you know, and the rest is no. But most of the, I probably put it on once a month if I'm honest. You know?
But that's the thing about the gi. It can be weird because of the grips.
Yeah.
It's slow. It makes it harder.
Yeah.
But you know what I found about the gi? It's you build so much of isometric strength.
Right.
Because now we're not grabbing on like say, you're not grabbing on my wrist where I can still kind of fight back and slip up.
Different.
Now we're here. So that would be hard for me to break, right?
Of course, yeah.
So let's say once you're grabbing my gi, now look, I'm doing a lot of strength here, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you developing a hell of
Big
strength
time.
on your grips.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
for
have
sure.
some monkey grips.
Yeah, and
when
funny
you're doing
fingers
gi.
too. If you see a gi guy, they got them fucked up fingers, man. I don't need that. You know?
But that's the good point about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, of course, because as I've been doing MMA and I had to prioritize.
Right.
Of course, I'm gonna go gi.
Yeah.
Because the grips are more. It's more. You know, I mean, I'm gonna go no gi. I mean,
yeah.
because that's more close to how I'm fighting in the cage with someone else. You know
But
what
I'm
I mean?
assuming, because I'm similar to that too, my style, I don't really use grips anyway if I'm in the gi.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I like where I feel it's a benefit
You
to
still
me.
keep a kind of like.
I still basically do the same
know,
thing for
I know.
me. I put like the pressure on top and stuff.
And that was where the difference is.
Right, so it doesn't make a lot of difference to me from what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, but it's more, I like it because if you go with tricky gi guys and they're gripping you up in all the kind of
They
lapels,
wrap you up.
that's what I like to have to work through. Do you know what I'm saying?
exactly. It becomes more like a puzzle, even more.
There you go, exactly.
Because sometimes it can beat your grip in no gi, just
Yeah,
bite.
exactly. Especially when you're sweating and stuff.
Exactly.
Just-
But then you have a guy, he grabs you here and he do some De La Hiva shit. you just like, all right.
Think
So,
now.
You know
Think,
what I mean?
Weslley, think.
I gotta, that's when it becomes interesting.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I said, I would not base my train sessions on gi,
Yeah.
around the gi, you know, but I miss it to have a taste of it.
Yeah, I hear what
You know
you're
what I
saying.
mean?
How
So-
often do you train? How much do you train now? Obviously, I'm assuming
The
you're
no
gonna say
gi?
every day.
I'm
No,
not-
just in general.
Oh no,
Full
we
training.
train every day.
Every day, but twice a days or once a days? What are you doing?
I do twice a days.
Yeah. 6, 7 days a week or what? 5 days?
I do 6 days a
6
week.
days a week.
But then on my rest day, I still like go for swimming.
Right.
Or maybe I'm gonna cycle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always do active.
Yeah.
I just like sports.
Yeah.
I like
But
to
I
train.
think that's better too. Like if when I have like a what you call a rest day, if I like do like I'm not doing anything today, I'm gonna sit down and watch the TV. I feel worse the next day.
Right.
I like to move and dance.
Just even
not
if it's
dance.
just-
Sorry, I said dance. But you know,
Dance is also good.
Yeah, I was gonna say dance around, but you know what I mean, like bounce around, go and do
Yeah.
something light on the body, fuck around. You know, swimming's a good one.
Yeah,
running,
yeah.
tennis, whatever. Not that I play tennis. much,
There's a lot of
but-
sports that where you
you
can
know what I
take
mean?
your mind away of the usual thing,
Yeah.
but also works your brain and your body in
Yeah.
a different way.
Yeah.
So I would do that. I
Yeah.
train it pretty much every day. But not, of course, not hard
Yeah.
every day. I do morning sessions, afternoon, evening sessions,
Yeah.
and then a lot of coaching, which is a
Yeah.
kind of training
That
as
work,
well.
yeah, man, that's tough
because
on the body if you're not careful.
Yeah, I do a lot of PTs. I don't coach. I do kids class here, jiu-jitsu kids class, and then I only coach PTs.
Right.
And some of my students are. Some of them pros, some of them amateurs, all level. Some of them just kickboxing, some of them just up to learn some jiu-jitsu. So we got normal people, they just want to,
Yeah.
as a hub, you know, some of them just want to lose some weight. So I'm coaching all day. So the coach, that's the good point of coaching as well. I need to give it credit for the coaching lifestyle, is because when you're coaching someone, you're actually the one learning the most, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. No,
You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
massively. Yeah.
For me to break down techniques to explain to kids keeps my brain working on basic stuff. And then I find someone who just want to lose some weight, but he want to learn, but he want to do that through boxing. So I need to now find a way of making the technique understandable for that person, and he actually makes some progress and learn boxing. Because when I work with people, of course you wanna, I'm just trying to be healthy here. Cool, but you're gonna do that learning boxing. That's what I teach. I don't teach fit boxing or anything like
No,
that.
yeah, right.
I'm gonna coach you boxing.
Yeah.
The transformation will come by you picking the right food, and then showing up to train. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And that's all it is. So it forced me to be thinking of technique, breaking things down. So it's almost like a mental training as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very important part of my preparation for fights, actually.
Really? That's
so
interesting.
so yeah.
That's
I think even when I get to the point where I could just prioritize me, I think I still want to coach someone.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's interesting.
yeah, it's for me it's a game changer. I started coaching too young. I actually started coaching when I was in this gym in Brazil, where we was known for kickboxing because of my coach, and he was a guy. He did the Jose Aldo's tour. You know, when he was fighting McGregor, they was going around places.
Oh wow, and that's a stressful one. That one with McGregor.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And he was so close to Jose Aldo that he went with Jose Aldo for that tour. So if you watch that again, you're gonna see like no hair but balded guy.
Yeah.
With full of tattoos.
Okay.
That's my coach
That's your
back in
guy.
Brazil.
Nice.
Yeah, my striking coach. And
Did you ever train with Aldo and Hen and Burrell?
no, I just saw them because they came to this gym. I met them in person.
Right.
They came to my coach gym for the inauguration day, for the opening day. You know, like when he first set the gym, they came from Rio de Janeiro for that celebration.
Nice.
You
That's
know,
cool.
so I saw them there.
Yeah.
Dudu Dantas, who was the Bellator back then. Bellator was just smashing everyone on the bantamweight division as well. Another pretty cool guy. So I just met them. We had a dinner together. Just social, but
That's
didn't
cool,
train.
Man.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then it was so, you know, it was just I love big coaching. He was this guy Alex. He was when it was still like 19, 18. I remember we would train in the morning, so he would coach us, and he would look at me. Okay, we're doing pad work at 5 p.m. And I was like, okay, cool. So 5 p.m. he would pad work me. But then after he would just like, okay, now you're gonna hold pads for me. I wanna train. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So I now I know what he was doing. He was actually teaching me how to coach.
Right.
Because you can be a very, very good athlete, a very good fighter, but it doesn't mean you're gonna be a good coach.
No.
It's crazy. You can really be like not a really good fighter, but you can be an amazing coach.
Yeah. And most of the best coaches, not all of them, but most of the best coaches weren't great fighters themselves, but they learned enough and then they sort of develop a system off it, right? And
To understand, even to understand why I was not that good. How can that, that person, it's almost like me, because I'm doing both at the same time. It's not like I retired and now I'm coaching. I'm coaching as I fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Through the process.
But you're going to have to figure it out. Like, if you get into UFCs and you're fighting for titles and stuff like that, you can't be like holding pad 6 hours a day. You got to chill out.
Shoulders will say thank you.
And also go home and just sleep. Don't do nothing,
that's
right?
the biggest game. That's the game change. It's the recovery in between when you were professional, really. You know, when you're living of it.
Yeah.
It's what you're doing between sessions. Like right now, I still gotta do a lot of pad work and stuff. And then thanks God, I'm not complaining. I'm not out there delivering food anymore like I used to do. You know, I'm not like doing cleaning.
Yep.
I'm at the gym. So thanks God for that.
So your mind's in the game all day, right?
All day.
Yeah.
That's a bless.
Yeah.
I prayed for that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So can't complain, but it's of course it's tiring for the body. It's tiring for the mind.
Right. And the mind, I think, is the biggest one. When you're exhausted mentally and you don't want to do anything, you can't learn anything in your own session, can you?
No.
Like I've done that before, where I've
hard.
coached too much during the day, and I probably should go home and sleep, but you force yourself to go to a session in the evening. And it's a waste of fucking time.
You're there, but you're not there.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
The best thing that comes from it is pulled hamstring. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're not switched on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I do when I'm in camp, for example, I switch prioritize myself. So, and the people that work with me, I'm so blessed because they understand.
Yeah.
So, I don't book as much in a day. I actually lose some money, you know, like I push them for different times so I can rest in between my next session to then coach. So I move things around.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in camp, I move things around.
Right.
If I'm not in camp, then I stay more on the coaching side.
Yeah. But even losing money, it's an investment in you.
It's not losing, exactly.
It's an investment in yourself, man, because down the road, again,
that money will come.
That money's going to come tenfold, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? From the pads that you're missing out on. But what's your strength and conditioning like? Do you do much? Because there's different fighters that some don't even bother, some just train, right?
They just train. I do S&C. When I'm in camp, I really do S&C.
Yeah.
Strength conditioning training.
Yeah.
When I'm off camp, I do more weightlifting. I just lift weights.
Sort of basic stuff.
Sort of like hypertrophy training.
Yeah.
Just
to look after the body.
Just to get small groups.
Yeah.
Strong, just to keep the body strong, the joints, the
yeah.
muscles, just to build a little bit to then go through. Because we break down the body so much through the preparation to then fight.
Yeah.
Which can be even more stressful and damage the body even more the fight night, depending how the fight goes.
Of course, yeah.
So I think it's always important to then reset, build a bit the body again to then go. But of course, sometimes you cannot really do that in between every single fight sometimes, because maybe let's say I fight today, maybe in like 2 months' time I have another one waiting for me.
Yeah.
So, but when I see myself like, okay, my next fight is gonna be in 4 months. So this month I'm gonna reduce the impact and start lifting a bit more. I still do runnings, I still do cardio, I cycle, like I said, I love swimming, I'm always active. But then I put a bit more of weights. Let's say weights a bit more of like kind of daily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that will switch completely when I'm in camp.
Right.
Then I go to S&C sessions twice a week.
Right.
And then the whole training, the martial arts training sessions.
And where'd you go for your strength and conditioning?
I got, there's Rory.
Rory Lynn?
Yeah.
He's been on the podcast, bro. Yeah, shout out Rory, friend of the show. Great guy.
Great guy, great coach. A lot of
yeah.
people from GB go there.
Yeah.
Some boxers go there. He's great.
Yeah.
You know, I also have my a guy called Sergi.
Okay.
He's from London Fight Zone. He's a grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Okay.
And he is a amazing S&C coach. I want to do a shout out for him.
Okay.
Because recently I worked with Rory. But I want to do a shout out with him because this guy, he was doing S&Cs with me when I couldn't even speak English.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
right.
Sergi, shout out to you, my man. It was funny. I was going to London Fight Zone for jiu-jitsu, right? It's a great jiu-jitsu place. They have a great Muay Thai. It's a good martial arts gym, but they pretty much a jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I see them like, wow, the jiu-jitsu there is amazing.
Yeah,
right?
I know them guys. I've been up there for wrestling. I used to go up there for wrestling and stuff.
Yes,
as well.
they do wrestling. They do everything there.
Yeah. Mad gym, massive gym. Shout out Marco Cagna, another guest of the show. Great guy. You know?
OG for sure. Yes, coach.
And Fight Zone Casablanca. Shout out to them. I'll be out there in a couple of weeks. I'm going there to get some podcasts and get some training in.
Lovely place, lovely people.
Oh, you've been there?
Yeah, I've been
cool,
there.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there, and then I used to go there for the jiu-jitsu, and then I got close into him. He was, I remember when I first met him, he was a purple belt, and great grappler straight away, and he's fit. You know, Sergi, he's fit, he's strong.
English guy or where
he's from? He's Turkish.
Turkish, okay.
But I think he grew up here.
Right, I
his
got
whole
you.
life,
Cool.
yeah. So I could barely speak English, and he still came close, and he was helping out, and he was already S&C coach.
Right.
Good, and he was in my first. I don't know, the first 4 years I've been here, he was pretty much my S&C coach. Like 3 years at least.
Nice.
And then never charged me, bro. Guys is a savage. He's just kind of sponsor helping, you know.
Yes.
Through the way when we have this dream, we have this vision, and then I remember in the beginning, even like people in my family, they couldn't see it, so they just like, what are you doing? Just, you know what I mean? Don't be silly, like stop it. Now they know I'm serious about it, you know.
Yeah,
so now it's easy to. Not easy, but kind of. But it's, let's say, where I am right now, it's a bit easier for you to come across and then, I believe this guy's gonna be something, you know. But I always like to remember the people that support when your vision, your dream, the picture you got here looks crazy. Yeah. Looks like that's bullshit, but they still support.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then and I had so many people. I truly believe they was God's gift. They was used by God. They was, you know what I mean. God put them there at that time to help me out to still be here. Because I literally had it many times in my career so far that I saw myself in a situation of life has forced me to stop, and then, you know, but I still want to do it, and then it could be sometimes through financial pressure, you know, when life is being tough and you just gotta. In the past, I remember like once in Brazil, I just completely walk away from the sport, tried to be a normal person, couldn't.
That's mad, yeah.
Was like dying every day. I was feeling the death coming in, you know. Yeah. Was not happy and then, but life is tough. Being an athlete, being a fighter. I have no sponsors. I have no, you know what I mean, financial support or anything like that. I'm just, like I said, a guy dreaming with faith in a dream, you know. Just trying to make it, you know. I would, so many times I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to keep doing that, because, you know, for you to train and be an athlete, and we're talking about it's not being an athlete, it's being a top level athlete. I'm talking about like I'm working to be in a small group of people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's a small group of people, you know, and it's hard because you need to put a lot of time into it. But right now, I think since always, time is money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now I'm in London. which is a place where you don't even do this for free. You know what I mean? There's nothing for free here. So if you breathe in there, you're spending money, my man. So right?
100%, man. Expensive place, isn't it? When you travel to places, when I've been places like Bulgaria comes to mind, like training different countries, and like you're paying for food and stuff, you go, fuck, Jesus Christ, like what am I doing back home, man? Like it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So it's like, it's a blasted place, don't get me wrong, you know, but it's a blasted place. God bless England. So, but it was times where I really life was forcing me to chase something else, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, because like I say, this money, you need to put, like, if you wanna do 3 sessions a day, 2 sessions a day, you wanna rest in between, that's the small group of people I'm talking about, the top level athletes, right? But that means you need to have the money to support that schedule. To support that timetable, you know what I mean? To support that lifestyle. So I never really had it, you know. But I somehow, with God's help and people coming across, and for no reason, I'll help you out somehow. I'll do, you know what I mean? Still here. I'm still chasing it. It's a bit easier now.
Yeah.
The struggles will still come. You know,
that's cool,
it comes and goes, but I always try to think of the worst as in the past.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's great, man. Maybe we'll sit here in 5 years' time. We'll both have a Lamborghini parked outside and we'll be chilling. You know what I'm saying? We'll be on
the podcast will be, I'll be on my one, you'll be on yours, and we're just talking about like this.
Both got sunglasses on, like, hey.
And it's going to be a winter time, but we're still going to have the...
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
We don't care.
One thing, when you said there, like, training camp, obviously things change, and it's got to, obviously, in terms of you got a fight coming up, it's more of a deadline. How long is a training camp for you? How long before the fight is
Ideally, for me, a great fight camp, everyone feels different, but ideally for me, 8 weeks fight camp, it's a solid camp.
That's it.
You know,
on,
for
switched
me,
on.
8 week, switched on, eating clean, good, on it. You know, I always eat it clean anyway.
Yeah.
I'm quite good with it. But like, on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, because that's also new for me. I'm talking about, and that's why I'm so blessed to have my wife.
Right.
Because how she is, you know, and how she supports me. Because she knows for like 8 weeks, I have to become quite selfish with my time and with my energy. So I remember on my last fight camp, I was leaving the house in the morning. My daughter was sleeping. Sometimes my wife's sleeping, and I would get back home, they're sleeping again. You know what I mean?
It's tough, isn't it?
And it's tough because you don't get this time back. It's just passing. My daughter's growing. You know, learning things every day and stuff. And then it was tough. But I remember when I was a bit down, or a bit like I don't want to do it. And then I remember, but all that struggle you're going through, you've been away from them, to just put half effort on it.
Yeah. No.
What's the point? No way. So, you know, walking into the cage, fucking love that guy. Luffy, I wish we both could win that night.
Yeah.
I truly, you know.
Yeah.
But then you gotta look across and like, mate, you're just in the middle of that. Me and the main goal, me and the dream. Gotta beat you up.
Gotta do everything you can.
Gotta do everything you can.
But you'll never regret that, even if it didn't work out. You'll never regret trying, will you? Do you know what I'm saying?
No way.
You'll never regret trying.
I think the regression comes from
not trying. That's the regret people people I've had on here as well. That so many people speak to me, and people I've trained with over the years that I've boxed with or done jiu-jitsu with, and they've done MMA, whatever. The ones that sit there and go like, I should have done that more. They're the ones that got the regret. You know, I know people that really dedicated and tried. They didn't get to where they wanted to go, but they lived there happy because they tried, and they really tried, and I think that goes a long way. So if you've committed to it, you can always go back to a normal job anyway, right? Do you know what I mean?
It's always there.
It's always there.
You're not going anywhere.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I think will you say you are 29?
I'm 29 now.
So you're still a young man. You've got years ahead of you and all that kind of business. Have you got a timeline in your mind where you'd like to be retired?
Yes, I do. I think because that's the thing about some people get to 29 and they're already like. they're exhausted.
Mate,
As an athlete,
there was a guy I knew recently, I keep mentioning this, I won't go over the story too hard, but he was 31. Now that's younger than me. And he was going 31 and he was blah, blah, and he was going, because I'm a bit old now, blah, blah, 31 because I'm a bit older now. And after about 5 times, I was like, bro, stop that shit with this old business. I don't feel old, you're making me feel old. You're 31, you know what I'm saying?
But it's because the aging is literally just a number.
Yeah.
What all that matters is how you feeling here, but not talking about you just all sick and fucked up, and then just thinking it's not that, but it's how you feel here.
Yep.
Will help you to decide how you leave.
Yep.
And how you leave will determine how old you are.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, that's the point. Some people get to 29, to 31, 32, 35. They're exhausted.
Yeah.
But I'm 29 now, but since 14 years old, I'm a guy like, I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm not out partying, I'm like having good sleep, I'm eating good food. I be careful even with sugar, you know what I mean? Like if I'm eating much or not, because I understand the longevity.
Yeah, longevity.
Longevity and the sport comes from how your body's function.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I'm trying not to be a fighter. I'm trying to be an athlete. You know what I mean? Somehow. So just making good decisions in terms of food. Making good decisions.
Please, guys, come in. Don't let us take over the room. Please, come in. Don't let us take over the room.
True.
Don't,
So it's just trying to live good. You know. So I think because like I said, I enjoy the competition. I enjoy this, but no more than like I think like 37 is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somehow I just got this number.
But it's different now as well, isn't it? Like 37. Like if you go back, I'm a bit older than you, but when we was kids, 37 was like, you got to stop at that time. But now, if you look around at people, it's different. People, like you said, you're living a healthy life all the time. You're not finishing training and having 6 beers and hoping for the best. Like it's different now. 37's not old if you look after yourself, right? And I think, you tell me, but ultimately the goal has to be not just to get out with the success you want and money and all that kind of stuff, but also like health
enough.
Right? Who wants to be the guy? There's a guy, I won't mention his name, but I know I used to box with, and I saw him maybe 6 months ago.
True warrior.
Well, he's about 5 years older than me. I'll keep it there because I don't want people to go, I know who you're talking about. But like, I met him, I bumped into him, I was chatting to him and blah, blah. And like, he's slower than he used to be. And he's not that old, you know what I mean? He shook my hand, and a little bit. And I was like, I don't...
Fighting is brutal.
Yeah.
It can be brutal, you know? There's a difference here. Martial arts, it's lovely. It's a therapy.
Right.
It's actually one way that can keep you also young and healthy.
Yes.
Right? But now we're talking about fighting. Put yourself in a ring for boxing or putting yourself in a cage for MMA.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in the competitions spot to compete with another guy, to fight for something.
That's different. That's not healthy now. Now you cross the line,
you
right?
You cross the line.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to do the main goal, which is pick the main result, which is the win, but not get as much damage as, you know, you got to minimize the thing.
And also, people are smarter now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, back in the day, like when I was, say, 18 in a boxing club, it was just train harder, that's it.
Crazy.
Just train harder, that's it. You know what I mean? Whereas now, people, you understand more, right?
There's
like,
a science behind.
Obviously, you've got to train hard, but it's not about training hard. Does
Not
that make
always.
sense? It's
Not
about getting better.
Yeah.
So if you have to train hard to get better, you do it, right? But at the same time, if some days you need a flow day, me and you do a technical spar, playing, I'm not kicking your leg as hard as I can and fucking each other up. If that's what you need to get better, that's what you should be doing. And people are doing it now. And I think a big part of that is so many people are doing martial arts now, right? You've got this facility like GB Top Team. You come in here and it's amazing. Like places like this weren't about before, were they? Do you know what I mean?
No.
This is a mad facility. People come in here and you've got like an environment to have good training partners and play with each other. If you like, play with each other, that's a terrible way of putting it. That sounds something different. But you know what I'm saying, right? You get to come in here and we can have a flow spar. We can technically spar. But as I say, back in the day,
Sharpen up.
the reason you was 37 and old was because you were just punching fuck out of each other all day, innit?
Crazy. Like so, and that's something that I learned recently as well. Knowing when to go hard. Before I would just like when I was still like 20s. I'm actually talking like it's a recent thing.
Yeah.
Only in the last 2.5 years, I've figured out when to push hard and when to chill, when to focus on making my feet better, making my technique better, making maybe sharpen up my takedowns. You know what I mean? Like working on small things.
Because you do have to train hard too. Because I think that's a trap people fall into the other way.
Yeah, those
don't train hard. All we do is flow all the time.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that's not
punches you in the face and you don't know what's happening.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a good point. It's not about. It's the balance in between, right? It's understanding when to push. Okay, how far away I'm from my fight. Is in 8 weeks. It's 10 weeks time. Okay, so I should be doing this now. This understanding came through years of doing things wrong, just training hard, and then now, okay, I don't need to. It's actually about being ready. My mind now is I only need to be ready for a 15 or 25 minutes of performance in the cage. That's all. That's all. It's so about. Important to know. It's not about picking up 4 weeks before the fight and then you're gonna drop. Yeah. It's about picking for the fight. Yeah. For the fight night. So,
but here's another thing people do as well, and it'd be interesting to hear what you think. Is like you said, sometimes you've got a 3-round fight coming up, right? 3 5-minute rounds. Now that's hard to do, right? But some people do sparring for that, like 10 rounds. Yeah. Now, it doesn't make that much sense because the pace is different, right? If me and you say, right, today we're going to go fucking hard 3 rounds. And then tomorrow we go, no, today we're going to go for 10 rounds. We're going to go hard for 10 rounds. That pace is off. We can't do the same. No. So to me, that's kind of like you mentioned it there. You've got to train specific for what you're doing.
Specific for what you're doing, yeah. You got to know, like that's it. What you're getting ready for. I'm getting ready for 15 minutes, possibly, of intense competition.
Well, I've heard George St. Pierre talk about that. Like when he would train, like his actual train, he'd get there, he'd warm up, he'd cool down, he'd do all his shit in between. But when he was in fight camp, he'd train hard for 5-5-minute rounds because he needed to know how hard he could go. And that was it. So he wasn't doing like
hours.
Yeah, he wasn't doing hours and hours of training.
And he will. Let's say that's the balance. Like if you go like a hard session in the morning, afternoon session should automatically be a technical session, a quite easy thing. Maybe some S&C if you like. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta find some people. We all different. Some people like to do S&C. Let's say some people who go wrestling in like Monday mornings, right? Which is it can be it's very intense. Right? Yeah, wrestling so explosive, like taking each other down, isometric stuff, and a lot of like push and pull, being explosive. We do like for an hour and a half, right? So it can be very exhausted, like tiring. But then some people like to maybe just do drillings on the afternoon. Some of the people will do S&C. Both of them, you're not really going hard anyway. S&C, people think like S&C when you're in fight camp for fighting, nowadays is very specific. Yeah. Right. It's very like push and pull, core, isometric, parametric jumps. It's very specific. But I never left the S&C like dying, break.
But that's the sign of a good trainer.
Exactly.
That's a big mistake. How many people back in the day used to do circuits and like being sick on the side, and then they need to fucking 3 more rounds, bro, and all that nonsense. Like, fucked.
And you burn out in the fight. It doesn't mean you're gonna do that pace. No. You're gonna burn out, Exactly. So it's shout out to the men behind the S&C. We do. It's like you say, the sport's developing so much.
Yeah, right.
That now we know through studies and the science behind it that this works better if you do it like this, you know what I mean? So
of course. It's
just we gotta be smart because like I said, I'm saying 37 because on my mind at 37 I'm financially good, I'm comfortable, and I'm young enough to still do other stuff.
Right.
I want to have some business, I want to do some other stuff. I don't know, maybe coaching some older athletes.
Nice.
It's just there's so much to explore, So I'm young enough, but maybe I get to 37, I'm fresh, smashing people, and I'm just like, I love that shit. I want to do it more.
Give me another belt.
My body, exactly. My body is still healthy enough to do that if I want to. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to retire because my body's telling me to.
That's not fun either. You see people, even if it's not been punched to shit. It's people that limp and they're sore all the time. Like that's not fun life either, is it? Like you don't want to get out like that either.
No, if I want to get out, it's because I want to enjoy now the money and my time.
But I think to get out when you can still do it. You know, when you've got like a couple more fights left in you. I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, when a fighter leaves, like Khabib's a great example, right? He left it at the perfect time. He could have fought on, couldn't he? You know, how long we don't know, but he definitely had more physically anyway. Like mentally, he might have been exhausted.
Young,
he had time. I think he was 32 when he got out, right? Which is crazy.
Literally on the prime.
Yeah, literally, probably not even in his prime. Yet, coming into his prime, right? It's
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? So we probably even missed
picking up.
Do you know what I mean? We probably even missed his best years, but. I think that's the way to do it, isn't it? He's got loads of money. He's happy.
Doing other stuff,
Out,
you know.
done.
That's it. You're good, and life is beautiful, you know. Because I see before, like 2 years ago, I would, because I was so, you know, like I was so focused on the physical world.
Right.
I was so into like this is my dream. I want to do this. I want to be a champ. I needed to do that. I need to do that. It was always me. and then like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, it was end of 2022, which I had a hard year in my life.
Right.
Like, it was wow, what a year. Those times come to all of us. So it was never personal. I know that, you know. But it was. I was going through so much in life. I was like going through like really. Life was not feeling right for me.
Yeah, I got you.
Life was not feeling.
Okay.
I was not feeling happy about life, about my dream, about anything. I was just, you know, and I had this situation that happened to me. Sorry, I didn't want to turn it into this conversation, but I had this experience where. It's still hard for me to talk about it, but I went to. I was going through a lot, and then I literally gotten myself in a position where life was feeling so miserable. You know, like I was not enjoying it. I didn't have joy.
Yeah.
For life, you know, I was just going through feeling anxious, feeling like bad. I was smoking weed, like being high all the time. I was like, I was addicted in porn. I was like, crazy stuff like that. I was like, you know, very like, my life outside of fighting was a mess.
Right.
And then why for me is like we're talking about porn because that's like actually it's a big problem out there, and then people are slave to it without even realizing.
Right. Okay.
That's a big problem the society has nowadays, and it's not even just for the men, for the boys, for men, but even girls. I'm saying human beings are into it, right? And that was just one of the small things that was making me sad about myself, about my decisions, about my life, and about things was going, you know. And then I realized it was all about me, and then I one day was in a place, and I literally stopped praying. Now I look back and then I see I was praying, but I was not. I was just talking to something.
Right.
I didn't.
Like a gesture, doing it for the sake of it.
Exactly. Yeah. I could never understand what I was doing, but I remember I had the thoughts where like I'm speaking to, I don't know, if God, if you there, I want to talk to you now. You never need to appear to me. I just want you to know how I'm feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was just feeling too much, and then I found someone who, like, came towards me. I didn't know the person didn't know me, and that person started to speaking personal things about me. Like he knew who I was, and that was after me praying, like, I want to talk to you. I want you to know how I feel. I was just like I was actually in the alley road, smoking a zoot. Like feeling the worst possible, you know. Right. And then I was just praying and thinking, like, oh God, if you exist, I want to talk to you. I wanna feel something. I wanna, you know, I'm tired. Life is not feeling good, you know. And then like 2 minutes later, this guy came, like a random guy, walking down the alley road, just looking to the ground, like a normal person. I was in East Croydon, by the way, so. You know, you don't make much eye contact.
It's not the friendliest place in the world, yeah.
You're just like, hey, I'm just like, saw this guy walking in, and then he came, bro. The guy, when he was about to pass through me, like he literally like hands like this. He was just walking. He just goes like smiling to me, right? And then I was like, like, like. I was like, weird, you know? The guy's just smiling to me. You know when someone like, I don't know, like someone that really loves you, sees you after a long time away, and then it's just like, wow, how good is it to see you, you know? He was looking at me like that, and then I was like, bro, you okay? Like, cause you know, you a bit aggressive, you know? I just think, why are you smiling to me? I was like, and then I was like, bro, are you okay? And he was just like, oh, now I know why I had to come through this Hollywood. And I was like, huh? Wow. Yeah, I was like, yeah, because God wants me to speak to you. Bro, and then I straight away, I felt, look, it's crazy.
Fuck, I got goosebumps too, bro. You telling me?
My brain didn't understood. Like, my brain was like, what? You know when you ask for something, and then that, let's say I'm asking to see something, that thing appears in front of me, and then you're like, I was not ready to see it. It was almost, I feel scared. I was like, what is happening? You know, it broke, it kind of like broke my brain. I was like, and he just said, God just want me to tell you that he knows exactly how you feel, and he's watching all the struggles you're going through. But he said to me, but he also told me to tell you that if you let him take over, everything's gonna flow through like it should be. He said something like that, you know, like if you trust on him, really, on your heart, he's gonna look after everything. Whoa. He said that, and then I was like, bro, what's your name? Who are you? And this guy was like, no, bro, listen, you don't need to know about me. I just had to come here and tell you that. And then I was like, he said bye, he kept walking, and then I was like this with a zoot in my hands, like what just happened?
You never see this guy again?
Never saw that guy again. He just went.
How old was he? Was he a young guy?
Bro, he was a young guy.
Yeah.
Young, like 26?
Yeah, like a man.
Yeah, like a man. And then I even tried, like, bro, I need to know your name. I need to, you know, like, and he was like, bro, no, you don't need to know nothing about me. Now I know why I had to go through this. Because, like I said, he was walking like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Man, East Croydon this was.
East Croydon.
Yeah, crazy.
And he said, God bless you. He blessed me, and then he went. And then I was shocked, and then I was like, what just happened? And then that day, something changed in my mind because I couldn't understand what just happened there. You know what I mean? I was like, I told it to my friend Gab, and Gab, something like that happened to me today, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, bro, you're asking for it.
Wow.
You gotta be ready to receive it.
But that's funny. I tell you what, because I've only met you a couple of times and that, but like the biggest thing about you, you're always smiling. You've always got a big energy, right? Like I can't imagine you ever being in a bad mood. So it's like to hear that.
I was there, bro. I was there. Like I said, life was, you know, like it was being enslaved to so many things, like addictions on weed, addictions on porn. You know, I see those things now as temptations.
Right.
My revelation now is we are being tempted every single second. As soon as we open our eyes, the evil is there, bringing situations to test you, to take you out of the path, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To move you out of the final goal, you know? And that's how I felt back then. And that day I was just broke, you know, and then my heart, you know, when you feel so bad about life and yourself, and don't even want to use the word depression, you know, I don't know what was that. I just had the big empathy, like a hole in my soul, if that's the only way I can express that.
I think a lot of people will relate to that, man. A lot of people that hear this and stuff, I think we've all probably felt like that in ways, life. Right? Especially martial artists, because I've said this on here before, and people have said it to me also. It's like there's a reason you start doing fighting, right? It's not, if everything's all good in your head and everything's together, you're not doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? You're doing something else. So there's a reason we get into this situation anyway. So I think as you go along this journey, you start to piece things along, don't you? And what the other side of that is, in this game of whatever you want to call it, martial arts, there's you meet a lot of sort of weigh out their characters that have got different sort of alternative views on the world, don't you? You know what I mean? And it brings it together, and you meet some interesting people.
Yeah, you do. It actually, you can have in a match like some guy with a criminal background or some guy who is doing university. You know, that's how it is. It's a cop and in a drug. I don't know. You never know. For sure. That's the martial arts we put all us.
Especially in mixed of martial arts, not necessarily mixed martial arts, but different martial arts. Because, like as I say, boxing. Not so much. Boxing's more sort of one type of person. Do you know what I mean? It's all not all the same background, but similar type of personality, similar type of. It's like a tough guy environment, you know. Whereas when you like everyone will know this that's done it, but if you do jiu-jitsu, it's a learning environment. It's hey, come train, my brother. You know what I mean? We're teaching you stuff.
It's a friendly. It's a community thing.
Exactly. Versus boxing's like get in that ring. Let me punch you in the head 6 times. We'll see. If you come back next time, maybe I'll talk to you.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
That's our boxing environment. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah, martial arts is more like putting different people together, and how life is. There's a lot of
and you get close on the mats and stuff because you're going through it together, right? You push each other a lot.
We do. That's the most beautiful things. Like it's especially in a place like GB. You know, like it comes from the leader as well. Or we have a very friendly environment here, but it doesn't mean we're playing here. We wasting time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, but everyone's so respectful and that friendly environment.
Right.
You know, like we're trying to help each other. You're gonna come here and any day of the week, 10 a.m. You're gonna see the pros training, the pro session. You're gonna see like 60 people, like training, sparring, pushing each other. But the spirit is that work we put on together. I feel generally happy when I see my teammate winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
Look what this guy did. Yeah. Because you're part of that preparation. You're part of that. When you go to a fight night, it's just you, but behind that 15 minutes where you're the man, you're the guy, you just won, you got the belt, that peak in performance moment, right? It's a lot of effort together. There are some guys that come showing up just to spar you because they have a similar style to the guy, so they're giving you rounds to let you perform, and you know what I mean? Like let you get used to what you may gonna see in the fight, whatever. It's like it giving you that body to compete, to train with. You know what I mean? And then when the guy needs someone like who looks like me, I will show up and then. Okay, I'll watch his fights. Okay, let me try mimic him somehow, you know, and do something more specific. Like you know when you're helping, and you know when it's about you or when it's just about helping someone else. Right. You know what I mean? So we got that together. When we see like we got like Lon Cameron, I just got signed to UFC.
Did
like
shout out Lon?
You know what I mean? The whole gym feels happy about it because. We happy, we know it's a hard work, we do it together here, so many rounds, we compete against each other, we're smiling, we get in pain together, we cry, when someone loses, we like, it's painful, you know, and that comes, and martial arts does it, we put us together, you know, like, if you start doing some jiu-jitsu somewhere, maybe soon, after your, let's say, 9 to 5 job, you see that guy now going into Sunday competitions with his teammates, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just cool. It's a thing. You know, were they happy when someone gets the medal, and they cry when someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how. And then I think that's how life should be as well. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But in life sometimes we're so focused on our, which we are kind of have to, but we should balance it. We're so focused on ourselves and our goals, and sometimes we forget to just stop on the rush, daily rush. And bro, how are you today, bro?
Yeah, how are you?
Are you feeling good, bro?
Feeling good, bro. Yeah.
Can I give you a hug?
You can give me a
hug.
hug.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
So you know what I mean? Like, bro, how's your life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it goes a long way, doesn't it? Like when you say it and stuff like that, it goes a long way for, especially again, going back to in here, sometimes people have got hard shit going on outside, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And like, here's like a freedom.
We don't realize, because
the
tendency we have, we're gonna hide how we feel, you know, hide how we, like I remember when I was going through that, I would come to the gym and still walk to that door and then smiling and then be positive, because on my mind it's like, it's not no one's fault that I'm going through this, you know what I mean, that I'm going through that it's, you have to take responsibilities, it's always about you, it's you know, it's you know what I mean? I put myself in that situation. We bring a lot of troubles upon ourselves.
Right.
And sometimes we guilt someone, you know. No, it's take responsibility. It's you, like, you know. So I never thought it was someone's business.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the tricky thing about it, because you don't talk to people. You can hide it, you know. And then also, most of the days, people are not going to ask anyway.
Right.
They're rushing, they're too far, you know what I mean? So we are the same room, but we're not together sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'm talking about people in life, in as a society, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, how we live. So I would be, like, you look at me and then, oh yeah, I'm pretty good. But then I was empty, like I said, on myself, you know. And then the only way I've got released from that was when I truly believe. I was like, if there's a God that they talk about, you gotta hear me now. You gotta hear me now, you know. And after that day, I start to. A lot more interesting things happened after that day. That was just the first time it happened to me, you know what I mean? We could talk about it, but bro, some things that happened that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I now got faith,
Yeah.
but I'm not really. I don't really understand it all, and I think I will never be. I will never do.
But I think that's part of the journey, right? You don't understand.
Everything.
The cleverer you are, the more you realise you don't know.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no one more stupid than the person who thinks they know everything, right?
Yes. Yes. And that's very true. Yeah. So, but then I was like, if it's not just, how can I say, I spoke to God that day, and then he responded me so quick, using a guy. He did it in a way that I had no option apart of, okay, I believe you hit me. I believe you know me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the way it was, the way he chose to answer me was in a way that my brain could analyze and be, it doesn't make sense if it's not God talking to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How does this guy, random guy in East Croydon in the Hollywood while I'm smoking a zoo, come and say that to me right after I'm like, you know what I mean?
And he wouldn't tell you who he was either. He just left you.
He just like, it's not even my business. You don't need to know me. You know what I mean? Maybe that guy is, I don't know. He got a revelation. He got used by the Holy Spirit
too. Like, you don't need to know sometimes.
I don't even need to know exactly. Right now, for like weeks, I was trying to understand.
Yeah.
Until I got to a point where, what are you moaning about? What are you curious about? You just asked and you received the answer, you know? So
that's all you needed, right? To elevate your life from that point.
And then I started being a bit more like, nowadays we say religious, but I don't even like that word, because I'm trying to be spiritual. I'm trying to learn about things that I don't know.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I hear that.
Maybe I'm sounding a bit confused here, but that's the only way. I'm still trying to learn understanding about it. And then I remember, like, when I start reading the Bible, right, to understand things, because now I'm like, okay, something happened that I can't explain. I need to understand. So I start reading the Bible, and then there's something that it says in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament, in Proverbs. It says, like, God is always open for a broken heart.
Ooh, I like that.
When he's always open for a broken heart. When I read that, I realized that's what he answered me, because I had no option. I had no one else to talk to that could understand how I feel, because, like I said, life was still great, but it was not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember that year I was going through a kind of like bad moment in my career as well. It was the whole year where I tried to compete, and then I couldn't. Brad was trying to get me fights, some managers trying to get me fights, and I just couldn't get one fight in 2022. So that's why it becomes a big frustration in life, and then all these bad habits around, you know, until I got to a point where I was like, man, I'm not happy with who I become, who I am right now. You know what I mean? And then I was looking at myself deeper than just being a champ, just being a guy with a belt one day, just being a big MMA name or something, you know. So now how I see MMA is not even the main goal, because it's not about myself anymore. It's just a platform. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe if that can be useful to I don't know, speak to someone that felt like I felt that day. that's confusing life, that it's trying to find that guy that I was talking to that day. I'm not talking about a person, you know what I mean?
It's interesting because there's a lot of life to live after fighting, isn't it? Like you mentioned 37 as a number, like hopefully, touch wood, there's a lot of life left after 37.
Exactly, you know what I mean? It's so much. And then now I know, and that's what for some people it's so hard for them to walk away from the sport, because it's everything in their life, it's about their career, it's about the title,
That's all they are.
That's all they are.
That's all that they are.
That day, that year, I realized that God had a bigger plans. Yeah. He was like, I don't want you just thinking about of what you want. There's much more about, behind. Because when you just, when you think you are your career or your titles or what you possess, your possessions, then you are like bring yourself, you're putting yourself smaller than you actually is, than you actually are. So it's so much more. We creatures, like spiritual creatures, living in a physical body, and we sharing this time like we're sharing right now, you know. I'm sharing time. I spend more time with these guys than what I spend with my family. Yeah. In the last 6 years, I saw my mom twice. Yeah. But I see those guys every day. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Yeah. It's life is bigger than just MMA. Life is bigger than just your career. Life is bigger than money. Yeah. And life is bigger than, you know what I mean? And all of those things that I said are great. We want all of it. Mm-hmm. Of course. But life is bigger than this.
Yeah, it's just a part of it, right? It's
exactly.
Just an
ingredient it's not the main.
The soup.
Exactly. It's just to make it tasty.
But it's all like, I mean, not to get sound too much like a hippie for the podcast, but like sitting here now with you having this nice conversation, it's a blessing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It's a blessing.
We could be stuck somewhere down a fucking, what'd you call it, like a mine, digging, fucking miserable with life.
Miserable with life.
It's a blessing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And it's all just a part of it to keep going for the next. And I think what I noticed too is, like we mentioned teaching kids earlier, like when you teach kids, you're watching these, I mean, little people, right, that are going to go on to do a million things, and most of them probably won't even stick with martial arts. But and it's not to be like, oh, it's great to teach the kids, which is fun in its own way, but like there's more to it than that. Like you watch this, and it's sort of, I mean this in a selfish way. Like you see these sort of people that will go on, and you realise like it's not that big a deal, right? It's just we're just passing through it on the way. You might as well enjoy it when you're there, because it's easy, I think, to be caught up in the fucking, I'm miserable with it, I've got to train at 12 o'clock, I've got to train at 6 o'clock, and it just, over time, that wears you down, doesn't it?
You're never feeling grateful. You're not allowing yourself to be grateful. Like, bro, we're here at the gym. Man, we're having a nice conversation. Bro, body's healthy.
Healthy is a big one,
broke. Right? Bro, I got, like something, I remember like, because now I try to see things more spiritual, right? Okay. And then I'm saying that in a perspective of a person that, I'm a sinner. I got mistakes. I don't want to put it out here to look like I'm spiritual. Like when I walk, my feet doesn't even touch the ground. It's not that. I'm on the game, and the game we're talking about is life. You know what I mean? And there's much more to know about than just what we see. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, and to learn about, the world is not just what we see. That's not even 10% of it. You know. So, but it's just. Now, I remember like the other day I was on the market, right? Random thing, just after a busy day at the gym, went home, talked to Trump, boom. So I spoke to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, you need to buy this and this." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Yeah, cool." Went to the supermarket, so I'm pick everything, I'm paying for it, beep beep on the machine. Took my phone. When I went to pay, I just could hear that voice, like. Look how good it feels. I can buy whatever I need right now. And then I pay. Beep. I can literally provide home. I can just bring food home. I can't. I'm not saying that I could buy the whole thing. No. I was talking about, man, I can buy anything I need. Yeah. I'm not going bad. I'm not gonna go sleep. I'm not going bad today. Hungry. You know what I mean? Yeah. I will eat good food. I just, like little things. You're grateful for little things.
Of course,
Like, I remember like it was one day I left like I was leaving early to come to the gym. So I opened the door, leaving my apartment, and then I closed the door, like everyone was sleeping, and then I thought, I just wanna get home. You know when you don't want to leave the house, it's so good. You just want to be, I just want to get home again. Yeah. So I came to the gym, I had a busy day, was coaching, training, boom. Nighttime, I'm opening that door, and then I feel, wow, I'm back. It was not guaranteed that I was going to be back today.
Right.
I made it.
Yeah.
Thanks God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are small little things that I see now, which I would never be able to see it when I was just being material, like human, being, you know what I mean? Being like, I don't know, miserable, being like evil, being, you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, it's true, because when you start saying, like, when you hear people go, just be grateful, people kind of roll their eyes and they go, all right, man, bro, yeah, just be grateful. But when I'll give you an example, a silly example, it's like when you're injured from training. All you want to do is get back on the fucking mat. But like every day, if you're miserable with it, you don't appreciate it, because like you said, you just want to go home. I'm tired, my leg hurts. I don't want to train today. Mm-hmm. But then, like, if I give you a knee injury, God forbid, it's like, you know, how do you feel?
Oh, I missed that ankle, sore ankle.
All you want to do is come back and
come back.
You know what I mean? I think it's important, isn't it, to realise while you're young enough to realise it too.
You can,
because another way, it's not an injury, but like one day you're going to be 50, hopefully, right? So like you're not going to be able to do the same things you can now. Do you know what I mean? And you'll wish you could, you know, be in the same situation you are now with your bad whatever, bad muscle, bad knee, miserable in the morning. It's all part of the journey, isn't it? But before we get too hippified and loosen people, tell us about like the future, because what I'm interested in is how far are you in your mind? I know you fight for Cage Warriors. I don't want to get you like in trouble or anything like that. But like we've mentioned UFC, like where's your vision and how far are you from that, bro?
Right now, 2025. I see myself 1 or 2 fights away from the Cage Warriors title shot.
Nice.
I see myself
getting
champ? That title.
Who's the champion?
Now is Leon Gittins.
Okay.
He's from Liverpool.
Okay.
He might be fighting Italian. I think he's fighting some Italian guy. He was supposed to fight Shehzad Quadran, which we have a love story as well.
Oh, really?
Me and
Who
Shehzad. Shehzad is he's a wrestler. He's
from Diesel.
From Diesel Gym, yeah.
I saw him the other day. I shook his hand the other day. He was in the gym after I trained over there. I did a leg lock class. Shout out Diesel.
There we go. So
he's an enemy, is he? He's against you. I've seen the video actually of him outside the cage, right?
I would not say enemy, but
he's a rival.
He's a rival. There we go.
Same weight division.
The most respectful way possible, but he's a rival. He's there. He's across the goal.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
So and we won one. We fought twice.
Really? Okay. Cool.
The first fight we fought was like a year and a half ago. It was Cage Wars as well. Both fights on Cage Wars. We fought. He just got signed, so we fought on Cage Wars. I just bit the shit out of him. Just smoke him. Just dominate him. Yep. You know, everywhere. Especially standing was hurting him a lot. Dominate him on the ground. And then we fought again on July last year.
2024.
For the 2024 for the prize fight tournament. We had a close fight as well, but he was just holding me down and was struggling a bit to get back.
I believe he's trained in Dagestan with Khabib. And stuff,
he won the decisions. Yeah, he's pretty much a wrestler.
Right.
With all due respect, there's nothing else he can do. It's just you're gonna hold dive you, trying to hold you in safe position. Doesn't score damage. Doesn't really finish fights.
Right.
It's just he's there. He's doing good. That scoring point game, just holding you, keeping you in safe positions, and then sometimes being the big guy. Just kidding. Just kidding. That's my guy. So just kidding though. But then anyway, it's a good moment for me right now. You know, I just beat a guy that was against him. He fought him as well on the final because he won. He won our fight on the semi-final, so he went to the final. Right. And then on the other side, we had Luth, who won his fight and then went to the final. They had a close fight. Shehzad won Luth by split decision. So they had a very back and forth fight as well. And then last November, I fought Luth, and then I finished him on the first round. It was a clean performance.
Bosh, my God.
Yeah. So got a finish, you know, dominate on the ground. Shout out to this guy as well. Like I said, I wish that night we both could win, but that's not the game we're playing.
That's not the game we play.
And he's a dangerous guy, you know. So for me, he was the most dangerous fight on the division right now, because of his KO power, his size, and he's just good. Very technical striker, and then very defensive on the ground as well. What I did, it's what they call me magic, right? It was a magician to the way who I put him out,
Nice.
making him look like he was easy, work to do.
Nice.
But he was not. It was just like I was blessed to walk in there and do the game plan and like boom, 8 weeks drilling to perform like that. When I walked in, I just did it. So, but I don't know. They have this. Shiza was supposed to fight with Leon Gittin same night I fought. They didn't compete, so because of the Leon got an injury.
Is this the video? Was this when you came out the cage and he's outside the cage and you walk up to each other?
I'm calling him out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because then I thought, okay, the injury is hot.
Right.
Let's just sort our business here, right?
Yeah.
Before we get to the tie. If it's for the belt or not for the belt, it's not even about him.
Yeah.
It's just like
you just won the belt, right?
I won, and then I wanna. We won one.
Yeah.
When we have to fight again.
Yeah, of course.
You have to. So
as I say, I've met him. I don't know him, but he's normally teaching around the time I'm on the mat. Sometimes at 10th Planet again. Shout out 10th Planet London. I go up there for leg lock classes, and he's around. Always very cordial to me. Shook hands. Good guy.
Like I say, we're not enemies.
Yeah.
We're never enemies.
Just in each other's way, basically, right?
Yeah. So and I see. I'm one fight away. I don't know who they're bringing up to me. I'm knowing for say yes to anyone they put through. Yeah. So it's not my job to be thinking about who's going to be.
Just another victim, bro.
I need to get another win and get close to that title. But I see myself. I'm winning that world title, Cage Wars world title this year, and then I'm going to UFC, and then we're gonna start the second phase. What my main goal right now is get that belt on Cage Wars and get signed. Once I get signed, then we gotta start building the main goal. Which right now is not even the main goal. Right? You know what I mean? It's just something that I have to do.
It's the next goal. Next one
before I'm done with the sport.
Nice.
And then see what God brings to me towards life after that.
Man, well, I appreciate you, bro. This has been a great episode, and we'll stay in touch for sure. I'll definitely let me know when the fight's happening. I'll be there.
Good.
I'd love to be there.
It's March. I'm still waiting for an opponent, but if that's the God's plan, I'll be competing March 21st.
March 21st.
London.
Nice.
02.
Ooh.
The day before UFC. Nothing beats this card. Let's
Come
go.
on, we'll be there. I'll post all the links anyway to reach you. Anything you want in the description, bro, we'll do it. But before we finish, I always ask the most important question of the day. I don't know if you've seen any of these.
No.
What football team you support, bro?
Oh, that's gonna be an easy one for me because I'm not really supporting football right now. No, there's no. I need to say someone.
What colour's the mats out there, bro?
The mats are blue.
There you go. What team plays in blue?
Are you saying Chelsea?
Hey, well done. Correct answer, my guy. I appreciate you, man. As I said, this was a great one. Maybe we'll do it again sometime because I could talk to you all day, man. Great energy.
Bro. God bless. Stay blessed.
I always finish with a fist up like this, mate. Squeeze the neck. Boom.